Hi guys, good morning and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Mandy and you can find me on the internet as Mandy Von Knits on Instagram and Ravelry. I am here to talk about knitting and crochet and I've got some patterns to talk about and a bag that I got to show you. Actually, two bags. And one is a teeny tiny notions pouch and one is a bigger bag, and I'm really excited about them, so I wanted to share them. I just got them in the mail. So where to begin? Okay, let's start with the giveaway. If you are new here, I give away a digital prize pattern every podcast. All you have to do is leave a comment down below. And if you leave a comment down below and come back next week, you're entered basically to win a digital prize pattern. The pattern has to be 15 USD or under, and you can only win once a month, just to make it even for everybody. Okay, so I generally draw for the prize on Sunday about noon Eastern time, so I don't even know who won yet. I filmed this on Saturday. So I am going to leave a blank spot right here. And if that was you, just reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry as Mandy Von Knits. Let me know what pattern prize that you want and I will go ahead and gift it to you. It's that easy. And if you want to win for next week's drawing, just leave a comment down below. The comment can be whatever you want and just come back next week to see if I drew your name. Okay, what have I gotten into this week? Do you guys ever feel like so overwhelmed about all the stuff that you want to do involving crafting? I've gone through periods, right, where I look at other crafts like I really want to embroider or like I really want to weave, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, if I do that, that's going to take away time from knitting or crocheting, and it's a juggling act, and it's like, no. What I need is to like win the lottery. This is what we all need, right? To win the lottery so we have unlimited knitting and crochet and craft time. But until that happens, I kind of have to juggle things around a little bit. So this week, and if you guys have been watching, what have I been doing? I have been going through my yarn stash and grabbing the yarn that I got, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, and I'm just not that into it anymore, or it's acrylic and I know I'm not going to use it for what I planned on using it for, or I just feel like it's been sitting so long, I want to do something with it. And I feel like that is something I can get behind. So I have been working with a circular knitting machine. Now, the circular knitting machine I've been using is the Addy Pro. You can find them, craft stores have them, Amazon has them. I can't even remember how much I paid for mine, but basically all it is I think 46, it's either 46 or 48 needles. And it takes between like a DK worsted. You can get away with some on either side, right? You can get away with some fingering weight. It's going to be very loose, or like Aran weight. It might be a little thicker. It's just fun to play around with it. So I have been making cowls as of late. And I've been making cowls because I have this yarn and I really like it and I think it's beautiful, but I mean, I'm not going to make a sweater with it. So I thought that if I just made a cowl, at least this way, it's going to get used. And I was talking to my aunt, and she lives in Alaska, and she said that I could send her the cowls or hats or anything, even if they were hand washed, and she could find a use for them. She has a mobile library, they have a mobile library in her city, and they do a whole bunch of fundraisers for libraries. She's a retired librarian, so I figure if I could send her some cowls. Maybe she could sell them and get, you know, a couple dollars for a good cause. So that is what I have been doing. And I've made that. This is like a white and gray. It has sequins in it. And I just thought this is so soft and pretty. And I love the yarn. I love how soft it is. It's just, I didn't see myself making a sweater out of it. Mostly because I have so much yarn. If I make all the sweaters I want to make out of all of the yarn I want to make, I am going to have to live till like, I don't know, 1,000 years old. And I don't know if that's going to happen. So realistically, I'm just trying to be a little bit realistic about my stash and my stash goals. Now, this is the second cowl. And I really love this one. This is a universal yarn. And I just thought that it would look really pretty as a cowl. I like it. But yeah, that is what I've been doing on the knitting machine. So, that was my knitting machine excursion, I guess, for this month. Or not this month, this week, last week. But let's see, what else have I been doing? Because I went back to my Tunisian crochet project because, let's see, last month was May. Okay, so if you're new here, welcome. I have been working on a Tunisian sampler shawl with Around the Table yarns. They have been doing a Project Monday class. Basically, every month they do a part of the shawl and they put it on YouTube, and then I can go to it and follow along, and I've been working through the shawl with them. Well, the Tunisian sampler shawl is, I believe, on the last Monday of the month, and on May, the last Monday of the month just happened to be, I think, Memorial Day. So they didn't have the Tunisian sampler shawl last month, but they had 2 this month. So I pulled it out and I started working on the first section of this month. Now I'm actually in the middle of a row. I've started on the second section, but I'm going to show you the first, and that would be right here. And I believe that this one was called the sampler shawl, or not the sampler shawl, the reverse stitch. So this was the month before that. And as you can see, it's just kind of been growing. Now, I do not have a lot of experience in Tunisian crochet. So this has all been kind of a learning experience for me. So this section was called, let's see, it's section 6, and it was called the reverse stitch, I think. Yep, reverse. And then section 7 is going to be honeycomb. And I really like the way that some of these stitches look. Let me see if I can show you one. I really like the purple. And I believe that was basket weave. I think that fabric right there would make a really good sweater. And I'm also really excited about the honeycomb. And part of the reason I'm excited about it is because this is the color I picked. Now this yarn is Shepshes. And give me a second because I can't remember what it's called. I always mess this up. So I have these. Let me get the strands out of the way so you guys can read it. It's Shepsha Scrumptious. And this is, what is it? I know that it's made from recycled plastic. It is 50% recycled polyester and 50% acrylic. So this is a DK weight yarn, and I have a bunch of these really small, really cute Shepsha Scrumptious. And I have been just using them and grabbing them, picking out different colors to make this Tunisian crochet shawl with. Now, my plan is to basically do a solid color and then this gray and a solid color and the gray. and kind of keep repeating it. You can see where I mostly have done that, except on the section where you need 2 colors. That kind of messed me up there, but I don't know. I still like it. It's very eclectic. Part of me wishes I had thought a little bit more about kind of the color scheme that I was going to use. Maybe I could have grabbed like a gradient pack and worked with the solid gray color, but part of me really likes like the randomness, the different colors, just picking one randomly out of the bag and just going with it. It's half nice to not be in complete control, and it's half like very nerve-wracking because you put a lot of time into these crafting projects to give away control like that of the color. But these rows are getting long. And I did watch the Around the Table video for the section 6, and they mentioned that this would be the last, or this one, I think the one right here was the last very wide one, and most of the other strips were pretty like thin, which I guess is good, especially when you're not used to doing Tunisian crochet and it takes you a very long time to do one of these rows. So I have this project and it takes me, I don't know, a good like 20 minutes to do one row. Because if you aren't familiar with Tunisian crochet, it's basically, I'm going to liken it to brioche almost, because 2 rows, 1 row back and is 1 row back and forth. I think I said that right. So a row back, 1 complete row is back and forth. So they both need 2 passes. And that's a lot of crafting time whenever your shawl or what you're working on starts to get bigger. By the way, I have the brioche hug on my make list, and I really want to make it. I do. I've just kind of been gearing up in my head to do it. I know that my next 2 cast-ons, I'm actually going to show you one a little bit later, but my next 2 cast-ons are going to be that Zelda sweater that I talked about, and a sweater by Natasja Hornby. So I'll have to show that one to you whenever we get to it. But let me put this back in my bag. Okay, so that was like the Tunisian crochet that I've worked on. And I know that row seems really small, but it took me like, I don't know, all last Sunday to do. I feel like because I'm not very used to doing Tunisian crochet and it's all new to me, it takes me a long time to get back into the rhythm of what I was doing from last month. So it's almost a double-edged sword. It's nice to have a project where, you bring it out once a month, you work a little bit on it, and then you put it away until next month. But it's also not so good because if you're like me, you have to look up what you were, like how to do everything again for the next month. So, it is what it is. I am having like a blast doing it though. And I do like kind of looking into Tunisian crochet and getting the gist of it and the hang of it. I feel like it would be fun to make a Tunisian crochet sweater or cardigan of some sort. I really do like the fabric that the sampler shawl has. It's not thick like some fabric can be. It's almost like in between crochet and knitting. So it might be good if I want a cardigan maybe with a little bit more structure. Plus, I think it would be a lot of fun to do. Okay, let me make sure I'm going to show this to you the right way out. So I have been working on a cardigan, and I have cast off the end of the well, not the end. I have cast off the body of the cardigan. So this is the Montrose cardigan, and I think this is, I'm putting up the name of the pattern and everything down below. Now this is a very exaggerated fit. And and I tried it on my daughter, and it is big on her. So part of me wonders if I should just take it out and re-knit it smaller, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I am just going to let it go, let it be big on her, and then she'll have something when she kind of ages into it. But she's not gonna mind. It's so comfy. This yarn is Plymouth Encore, and I think it's just called Pink. I really do. I was looking at the colors and I had to order another skein because I wasn't going to have enough for the sleeves, and I'm looking at it, and for some reason I remember it being called Pink. So maybe, maybe not. But I did have a lot of fun making this so far. And I'm also wondering, and I want your opinion, everybody's opinion. So I have this cardigan with a very oversized body, and I'm wondering if I should make the sleeves more fit, and I think I will. I think I'm going to bring them in, and if you guys are familiar with the Boxy by Joji Locatelli, it's very exaggerated on the body, and then the sleeves are more fit, and I think that that would be a cute look for this cardigan. However, I also don't want to make them too fit because I want this to be able to, for her to be able to wear this for a while. So I feel like I might go down a size or two and then try it out and see what happens. Or I can just check my gauge and do the math and figure out how many inches exactly I want it to be. But this cardigan has a double knit button band, which I can't wait to do. And I think I can wear this too. So that is a plus. Unfortunately, this is not my color, I don't think. I'm not a big fan of like the light pink. I like hot pink or like coral or bright, happy colors. Not that this isn't, but I'm not a big pastel person. I really like bright and in your face and, you know, yeah, basically like that. So I had a lot of fun making this so far, and I feel like I would love to make another one of these, but I have something else I want to make my kids, and I wonder if I should talk about it now. You know what? I'm going to. I'll put that right there, and I'm going to actually look for it because I printed it out to show you guys. So I am going on vacation sometime in the upcoming month. And I don't want to say exactly when, obviously, but okay, I'm going on vacation. And when we go on vacation, we stop at a yarn store. Just because I love to stop at yarn stores. I know you guys feel the same way. I love to go to yarn stores and look at all of the yarn and just be inspired. I am paralyzed. I'm a full-time wheelchair, so I don't really get out into a lot of yarn stores. Generally, the only time I actually get out into them is when we're vacationing somewhere. So it's a really, I don't want to say it's a really big deal to me, but it kind of is. So it's a really big deal, and I love to go. It makes me happy. With all of that said, last year, if you guys watched, I made my daughter and my son Christmas sweaters. Now, I don't even remember if they were done by Christmas or if I did them after Christmas, or it doesn't matter. But this year I wanted to do the same thing. And so I was thinking, what would help tie in my goals for this year with their Christmas sweaters? So my two goals were brioche, to get better at brioche, and to work on color work. So following along the color work trail, I started thinking, wouldn't it be really fun if I made them color work sweaters? Yes, that's what I decided. So I started looking through my patterns, and I started looking through my make list, and I ran into Cartography by Tin Can Knits. Now, this is a pattern, and let me show it to you guys. This is a pattern by Tin Can Knits that is in the Strange Brew book. And what's cool about this Strange Brew book is that it's basically almost like a recipe to teach you how to put color work on different things. So this particular sweater base that they have is DK, but I'm thinking I want to take that color work and use their flax light pattern and basically just add different color work to it. Now, I am not sure. No, I think that that should work. I'm pretty sure looking at this that this is a raglan, but either way, I also have the simple sweater from Tin Can Knit, so I could use that one too, but I almost would rather do a raglan than a circular yoke. But with all of that said, what I want to do when we go to the yarn store is look for some complimentary, like a set pack of yarns with complimentary colors, and have them pick out one. Each of them pick out a color set. And then together we can kind of find the base that they want the sweater to be, and then that can be their Christmas sweaters for this year. I feel like that will be a fun thing to do. Now, I know it says DK, but we'll figure it out. So, because I'm pretty sure I will be grabbing fingering weight yarn. I do like the way that fingering weight knits up. I know that it takes a lot longer. Trust me. I'm gonna be showing you my poncho that I'm working on in fingering weight yarn, and yeah, it does take a while, but I really feel like I like the way that the fingering weight yarns feel, if that makes sense. And it's just something that they'll be able to wear throughout the year. The last Christmas sweaters that I made them, they tend to wear anytime they want to, like, they have to dress up, we have to go to their school and they're doing like something they have to dress up for, they generally wear those sweaters. So they get used. Okay, now this is another coloring work project that I've been working on. This one, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot. And the reason I'm saying that is because, well, you can take a look at it. Let me move the yarn out of the way. It is all over color work. Hang on, there we go. We've got all over color work. Now, I am almost done with the second star. Like, it's so close. It's so close, guys. This is like 200 and something-ish stitches on this poncho. I didn't even tell you what I'm knitting. I'm sorry, guys. This is the Shetland Skies. This is an all-over colorwork poncho, and I am using Holst Garns Tide. Now, this yarn is made up of 30% silk and 70% wool. And the put-ups that I have for this is a cone, which is very economical. If you guys are looking for yarn that's a good price, you get a whole bunch of yarn for, I definitely recommend Holst Garn, especially these cones. Even shipping to America, it is very worth the price. I love the way that this yarn knits up. It's very soft. And this is the second all over colorwork project that I've done with it. The first is, I wonder if I can grab it without knocking everything over in my shelf here. Okay, I only got one thing down on accident. This is the second one, or the first one. This is the Wildflower Pullover, and this is by Andrea Gaughan. And I test knit this for her. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I love the way that the sweater feels. I'm really happy with this one. What did I do? I finished the sweater. I tried the sweater on, and the neck was too big. And I'm like, come on. I have the worst luck with necks. So what I did was I took the whole darn neck out and picked up smaller, and it worked out great. And now the neckline is perfect on it. So I was definitely happy I did that. But with all of that said, I definitely recommend their yarn. It's very soft and it's a great price, and I love how it knits up, especially for color work, especially. So anyways, back to the Shetland skies. This has been kind of a hard project for me to work on, and I think the reason that it's hard is because I'm trying to finish it before I start the sweater, my Zelda sweater, or at least get it like this close to being done, because I know as soon as I pick up that Zelda sweater, I'm not going to want to knit anything else. And so that's kind of where I am. And whenever you're trying to get yourself to knit something, like because you need to do something else, it almost makes it like an obligation, and it's not as fun to do. So it doesn't help that these rows take like 20-30 minutes each row almost. But this pattern, I can't say that I modified it. I knit it differently than the designer did. She took different colored yarn and knit a couple rows, like 2 or 3 rows for each color, and then swapped the color out and knit another. So each of her rows was only 2 colors, which it looks very nice, but I had really wanted to do, 3 colors for each row. This was what I had my heart on, so I figured that if I can get through this, I can definitely get through those cartography sweaters for my kids. So I'm almost there. One more star. I feel like in just a little bit I'll be able to say I'm over and done with this. I know that there's a border and it's so soft, and I will have a poncho to wear, especially when it gets super cold. Do you know the time, like when August is ending, going into September, where it starts getting cold, but it's not cold enough to wear like a sweater? Although for me, I'm always wearing a sweater. Honestly, I will probably be putting this poncho on over sweaters. I am just that kind of person, cold all the time. But I can imagine wearing this like in the fall time, especially during, Halloween. It would be really fun to make a Halloween poncho, I think. I love Halloween, guys. When I was a kid, we used to, before I had cancer, and then after I had cancer, after I had healed, we would go around to different areas and do trick-or-treating and then come home, and it was a lot of fun. So I definitely like that. Okay, I have shown you color work and the knitting machine cowl. So let's talk about the bags that I got, because I thought that these were really cute. So I got them from My Needlecraft, and I love this little notions pouch, and you guys can tell, like, just by looking at the fabric, exactly why I love this. I really thought this fabric was cute. So when I saw it, I wanted to add it to my order. Now, here's the thing. I got a bag, this bag right here. So I thought that this was really pretty. And I really like the fabric on it. But could you imagine this bag in this fabric? I looked. They didn't have one, or else I totally would have grabbed it. But I have never ordered from My Needlecraft before. And look at this. I thought this was awesome, right? It opens up into like a box. So whenever I'm knitting, it can just sit on the table like a box. And there's a pocket inside. So the best part about it, I think, is that it collapses, so it doesn't take up a lot of room unless you need it to. But I definitely love pinks and, purples and all of these colors on here, so I thought it was great. It shipped pretty fast too. I am always amazed at how I can order, because I believe they're based in Canada. So I ordered it, and like, it's super fast to ship. And has anyone ever sat down and just thought about how crazy it is to be living in a time where we can wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm gonna send this package to halfway around the world, and then like a week later it gets there? That amazes me. We are lucky. That is lucky. It is really cool. Okay, I am going to show you guys some patterns. I actually found this one because, so we have a birdhouse, and I believe I've mentioned this before. We have a birdhouse, not a birdhouse, a bird feeder, and it's set up, and it's one of those ones that take video if there's a bird around. We got it on Amazon. It was on sale for like 50% off. So it was very inexpensive. It was like $50. So we put it outside, and my daughter is always asking me every single day, what bird showed up today? What's happening with the birds? And then when she hears it, she'll go, oh, is that the blue jay or the cardinal? So she's been loving like all of the learning that she does from looking up the different birds on the internet. She's got the Merlin bird app where you can press record, and if a bird is singing, it will identify it for you, and then she can learn about what bird is singing. She can look them up on Google. The other day we had like a hatcher, something like that. I'll put it down below. But we've never seen that bird before. We've had blue jays and cardinals and chickadees. Anyways, with all of that said, I went on Etsy and I'm looking around at bird patterns because of course I am. And I've been doing a lot of stuff with the knitting machine, and I saw this and I thought it was really cute. So this is a pattern, and I'm going to put up the pattern information on the screen. This is actually a knitting machine PDF pattern to make these little birds. And there's all sorts of ideas on the Etsy page about the different colors you can use and like the little beaks. It's so cute. And I thought, you know, that would be something fun that maybe me and my daughter could do together, because she's always asking me, oh, can you make me a cardinal or a blue jay? And I can teach her how to use this, and she can help make her own birds. They don't seem that complicated, and the pattern was not expensive at all. So I figure if anybody has any like kiddos, grandkids that like birds, and maybe they want to look at crafting with them or even just making it for them, that this would be a cool pattern to try out. I've been like I said, I've been looking for different ways to utilize the different crafts I have. Okay, so this top is called Top Fiesta, and it is by O Fio Das Moira. At least I believe, I hope so. And it is done in sport weight yarn, and this is a crochet pattern. But here's the thing, this design is in one size, but hang on, wait, there's more. So it is crocheted with 2 rectangles, and because of the way that it's constructed, the pattern page on Ravelry says that it's very easy to customize the width and the height of it. So even though it says one size, you should easily be able to change that up to make it a size that you can fit. And look at how cute it is. I thought that this would be a lot of fun to do in an advent. And this is a free pattern, and I had never run across this designer before. And it is in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. I am always looking for different ideas to use minis on and advents on, and I just feel like this would be very cool to do. You could also just do it in a plain colored yarn, and it would be very nice there too. but I feel like would be an awesome pattern for somebody who's a beginner crocheter and maybe just wanted to try something out, or for somebody who's more advanced and just wants, you know, a project where they can just go on autopilot. So it's also free. I don't remember if I mentioned that. Okay, this is another pattern that I ran across, and if you guys know me, I love hats, and I have been looking for different hat patterns to make because it's almost the time of the year where I have to start breaking out the knitting needles and the crochet needles to make hats for the winter season. So this is an all-over cable hat, and this sample is knit in Malabrigo Rios, I believe. So that's a worsted weight yarn, so it's a worsted weight hat. Now, obviously, if you use thinner yarn, you could bump up the pattern size and then kind of adjust from there. But the pattern itself is worsted weight yarn. The gauge is 20 stitches and 27 rows equal 4 inches in stockinette. It says, this hat has 2 sizes, adult, medium, and large. It is difficult to adjust the length of this pattern other than the length of the ribbing. You could omit certain rounds to make it a bit shorter. It says it has a double folded, like a folded over brim. So it's double, the brim is knit double. You can adjust you could not do that, or you could make the brim a lot longer and just not fold it. But I really like all over cables, and one thing that I've noticed is that if you are dealing with somebody who's someone who doesn't knit, when they look at cables, they're like, wow, that's amazing. And you know, to be fair, even when I look at cables, I'm like, that looks like so much work. But you guys know, if you've done cables before, you know it's not that big of a deal. As long as you don't have to fix them and drop down, it's not that big of a deal. I've had to fix them and drop down, and it's still, it can get nerve-wracking. But I really love Malabrigo Rios, and I love the different colors for it, and I think that knitting this hat in any, I don't know, like a salad or a tonal, it would just be a great chance to let those cables shine. And it's a free pattern, so I thought that I would share it with you guys. Whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, because the crown. Oh, okay, I gotta show you guys the crown, hang on. The crown, I love that. I love detailed crowns. One of my pet peeves is whenever you're doing like a color work hat and then you get to the decreases and like everything stops, or cables, everything stops. So I really like finding hats that have different crown designs and things like that. It's not a minor detail. I mean, it's hard to calculate everything into the crown decreases, but I really do appreciate that extra little bit. Okay, so I saw this and I thought that this was really beautiful. This is called Spring Lines, and this is in fingering weight yarn. And I really love the line that runs right down the middle of this. So if you look at the pattern picture, there's a line right here, and I just thought that that was so pretty. It says, spring lines feature elegant lines of twisted ribbing that add a touch of sophistication to an otherwise simple V-neck pullover with compound raglan shaping. This added ribbing pulls the sweater closer to the body, ensuring a fit that accentuates your form. No extra shaping is required. If that isn't the fit you're looking for, try using a yarn with less elasticity. The long sleeve sample of this sweater is made in a cotton blend, and it drapes quite differently from the original short sleeved version in merino and nylon sock yarn. So let me see if I can show you guys the difference here. So that's the long sleeve version, and she said that that was with a cotton blend. It's a little less grabby than the merino wool, which would be right here, which kind of goes in a little bit more. So it's cool that she knit 2 different samples in 2 very different yarns to kind of show how the pattern is represented on both sides. So it's got 11 sizes, which is really awesome. Let's see, the finished measurements are between 32¼ inches to 62¼ inches, or 81 to 156 centimeters. So that's a really good range of sizes here. It says spring lines is worked from the top down with compound raglan shaping. That sounds like fun to me. This is why I wanted to bring up this pattern, because I think that it is so simple. And I don't mean simple like it's simple to do. I mean it's simple like it's just a wardrobe staple. Do you guys understand what I mean? It looks like a sweater, a shirt that I could wear every day, and it's very sophisticated, elegant. It looks wonderful. It is very beautiful. That's what I'm trying to say. It says that you need between 900 and about 2,500 yards of yarn, depending on what size you're making. So the gauge is 24 stitches and 33 rows is 4 inches in stockinette. So I thought that this was beautiful. I think that this pattern, because of the pattern and how a lot of it is plain stockinette, it could work with a variegated yarn. It could also work with more of a solid or a tonal. Now, the only thing with the variegated yarn is it might be a little bit harder to tell that there's ribbing there, but I don't think that that really matters. I feel like the overall look of this sweater would just look beautiful no matter what. So I wanted to mention it. I thought that it was really cool. And that is also by Turquoise Toque Designs. So I don't think I said that. Now, okay, I wanted to mention this one because this is going to be cast on, and I need your guys' help to tell me if I should cast this on in black linen or like a hot pink linen. So let me know down in the comments. I haven't been able to decide. This is going to be my plain knit, and I don't mean plain, I mean non-color work knit whenever I'm done with the Montrose junior cardigan for my daughter. So this is the Corbis sweater, and this is by Natasja Hornby. And I have had this in my queue. I have had this pattern for so long. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I might have actually. There's a good chance that I've mentioned this sweater before, maybe once or twice, but it's in sizes extra small to 3X, and the gauge is 25 stitches to 36 rows is 4 inches in stockinette. Now, the suggested yarn is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. I actually have a sweater's worth of yarn of that I could use for this, but I really wanted to use the linen. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Because I'm not sure. Have you ever used Knitting for Olive Pure Silk? What did you think of it? The linen that I have is Barocco Modern Linen. So those are my two choices. Knitting for Olive Pure Silk or Barocco Modern Linen. It says, knit from the top down and partially on the bias. Corbis is all about framing the face and neck in the most elegant way. The rhythmic basket weave yoke changes organically into tactile diamond shapes, resulting in a powerful and dynamic interplay of lines and shapes for a stunning visual effect. The unfussy, effortless shape of the sweater will complement most body types. Okay, so let me read about the construction because that's probably what you guys would want to hear most about. It says you will start the sweater with a top-down triangle that will form the center of the upper back. Once the triangle is worked, stitches are cast on for the front neck, which works after the yoke is worked in the round, after which the yoke is worked in the round until the underarm. After finishing the yoke, the gaps at the side of the body are closed working short rows, after which the lower body will be worked in the round to the lower edge. Wow. Okay. Did you guys get that? So you start off with a triangle, a top-down triangle, and then that's going to be the center of the upper back. Once the triangle is worked, stitches are cast on for the front neck. So that is going to be an unusual construction, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Like I said, my choices are pink pure silk, knitting for Olive, or pink modern linen or black modern linen. Now, I'm not sure of the colorway names that I have, but if you take a look at those yarns, it's the ones that look closest to hot pink, because that's what I'm always going to pick. But I can't wait to cast this on. This is coming, you guys. Okay, so what do we have next to show you? Okay, I wanted to share with you guys this because I actually got a Ravelry message from Karen from Bobblehead Knits. If you guys haven't seen her yet, go check her out. I love her. I love watching her channel. So she sent me this in Ravelry. And she's like, hey, would this work as like a Halloween sweater for your daughter? And I looked at it and I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. So if you guys don't know, we love cats here, and this is just so cute. I thought that this sweater yoke is just adorable, and I feel like you could do so many different color choices for this, and depending on your color choices, you could do it for Halloween or Christmas or just a regular shirt. So I thought it was cute. It is called Habenara, and it says the sweater is worked seamlessly from the top down. First, the stranded yoke is worked, then short rows are added to shape the back of the shoulders. The body and shoulders are the body and sleeves are separated and worked in the round. So it says, each body is unique. Please remember that the pattern serves as a guide, so feel free to modify to fit your measurements. Now, the sizes available are, it says it's A through J, so that's a pretty good size range. And the yardage is between 1,000 and 1,872 yards. They use sport weight, but if I would knit this for my daughter, I'd probably use fingering. And then I would take a look at the chart and be able to tell, because last year I knit her the simple sweater, or maybe it's super simple sweater. I'll put it down below with a picture. Last year, like I said earlier, for her Christmas sweater, I knit her the super simple sweater by Tin Can Knits. That is a circular yoke raglan, and hers fit her very well. So I can take a look at the size that I knit her and basically base the size that I pick off here to be close to the same stitch count, if that makes sense. I would probably go up a little bit just because I want it to be a little bit bigger, but that's where my mind would be when picking out a pattern for her, because I used fingering weight on that one and I would use fingering weight on this too. Okay. I have another cat thing to show you. I get Crow Jennifer's newsletters. I believe that's her name. And she generally sends out pattern releases and talks about different things that she's put in her pattern shop. So she sent a newsletter or an advertisement for one of her other crochet summer sweaters, and I clicked on the link, and immediately after I clicked on the link, I started clicking around to look at her other patterns, because you know, that's what I do. I'm always looking at patterns, and I ran across this one. Now, what is this called? It is called Kaleidoscope Kitty Squares Cardigan, and I thought that this was really cute. Now, this is a crochet pattern, but the thing that I liked most about this is that you cannot really tell that those are cats unless you really look at it. It almost just looks like a crochet cardigan, but if you look closely, you can see the little cat shapes. So it's almost like a wave stitch until you know, examine it. Now, I don't know, is that the back? I don't know, but if it's not, I'm putting up a picture of the back. And she did the seaming together in a white yarn. I feel like I would make the seaming kind of blend in with the cardigan so you wouldn't be able to tell that it was different squares, so that they'd line up. And I think that this would be really fun and cute to make. Kind of just a crochet cardigan you could throw on whenever. And it wouldn't be overly cat-like, but you would know. So I think that it would be cute. And you could use like all different colors, or you could use like 2 different colors. That's the fun thing I think about crafting. You could make it as crazy as you want, or you could just make it muted neutral tones. And it would look really cool no matter what you did. Because you made it, and you made it to fit you, and you should be proud of it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. Okay, I feel like that's all that I had to show you knitting and knitting pattern wise. This week has been all about kind of, I don't know, it's been really burning hot here. Like 90s, feels like 100 degrees. I'm glad it's not normally like this, because whenever you're inside and you can feel outside how hot it is, that's too hot. So we've been dealing with that here in Southeast Michigan. If you guys have had to deal with the heat or any other unfortunate weather, I hope that you've got your knitting by you, and it's your knitting or your crochet or your crafting of any kind by you. And I hope that it's kind of getting you through, you know, whatever might be kind of making things less than ideal. Let's go with that. As for life stuff, I don't know. We're getting ready to go on vacation, and I will let you guys know after we get back. It will be sometime in the upcoming month, because I don't want to say exactly when we're going, because, you know, the internet and stuff, but it'll be sometime in the next month. We're very excited, and we've picked out an audiobook to listen to on the way there. So, I am a science geek. My son is a science geek. We are very geeky and into like geeky things. We love science and programming, and my shirts have cat programming jokes on them. I have a shirt with a cat that's sitting at a computer, and it says programmer. I'm a software engineer, so like, I like it. It makes me laugh. Anyways, I had a point here. We decided we are going to listen to Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Now, if you guys have never read this book, I suggest that you go out right now and get the book to listen to it, or read it, however you prefer to consume your books. So my son and I love this book so much, we have decided we are going to listen to it on the way to vacation. So that's a big deal, because there's only a handful of books I re-listen to. I am not good at listening to things over again when I know what's going to happen. I'm not very good at that, but I love this book. This is a good book. So that is what we're planning on listening to on the way to vacation. I'm trying to think of what I read this week. What did I read this week? I read last night a book called by Alex. Ugh. I'm like saying the wrong things. Alex Finlay. Yes, that was the name. And it was called If Something Happens to Me. And that was a very entertaining book. And I'm listening to the book. No clue, like, who did what or what's going on. What do I mean when I say that? It was a thriller where the ending to me was unexpected until I finally got it. So I really like those. I also read a book by, oh, what's his name? I'm going to put it down below. But it was called Confessions of the Dead. Now that was an amazing book. I like that book a lot. The ending was so unexpected, and it was the first book I read by this author, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good book. If you like thrillers or like mystery stuff, I would check that out. At least read the back of it and see if it's something you would like. Now, Project Hail Mary is a science fiction book. The books that I've been reading lately are more of thrillers, so just letting you know, if you do check out Project Hail Mary, it is definitely a science fiction book. Okay, I think that's it. I do. I think that that's all of the reading that I've done lately. My son has been asking me to watch like anime with him, and between watching anime with him and doing my AWS hands-on labs, I have had like very little time to catch up with podcasts and to read and what else? Watch TV and do anything. So I've been trying, but I'm still trying to catch up with June's podcast. So with the podcast watching that I do, because there are certain podcasts that I love to watch, but I've gotten so far behind on everything, you guys. Do you know what it is? Sometimes life just doesn't give you enough time. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I hope that you guys are having an amazing week. I hope that you have a lot of knitting or crochet or craft of your choice-ing. And that you get to do, all of the things that you want to do this week. I will see you guys next week, and I hope that you have an awesome day. Okay, thanks. Bye.